Next, we're going to cover the sales tax process, and I'm going to show you how to compute sales tax on vehicles that you sell. I'm going to show you how to collect sales tax, and then I'm going to show you how to easily file a monthly sales tax return so you can pay the sales tax you've collected to the state. If you are a first-time business owner and maybe you're intimidated by the collection of sales tax, there is absolutely no reason to be, because I'm going to show you how extremely easy it is to charge sales tax correctly, and then with a couple of clicks of the mouse, you'll be able to pay the sales tax that you collected directly to the state. So let's go ahead and take a look here. We're going to discuss the sales tax amounts. The state sales tax for automobiles currently is 2% of the fair market value plus the county and city tax. So you're going to want to collect the tax at the time of the sale, and then you're going to pay the tax that you've collected to the state every single month. And I'm going to show you how easy that is to do. So not only are you collecting the 2% sales tax from the state, but you're also going to be collecting your county or city sales tax, and that's also going to be determined where your dealership is located. On this screen, you're going to see some really valuable sales tax contact information. If you have any questions about how to obtain your initial sales tax license, you can call the Business Entity Registration Office at 334-242-1584. And that's with questions on how to initially get your sales tax license. But if you have any motor vehicle sales tax questions, there's a couple of other numbers there, 334-242-9000, or once again, 334-242-1490. And you can always shoot an email specifically on sales tax questions to local tax unit at revenue.alabama.gov. Alabama automobile sales tax is due monthly. You must pay the sales tax that you've collected on or before the 20th of the month following the month of the sales tax was collected. So you're going to be filing every month, even if no sales tax was collected. Dealers are required to file returns electronically using the Alabama tax payment system called MAT, which I'm going to show you here in just a few moments. It's a very easy system, and it's going to make it very, very easy for you. But I do want you to be very, very clear. Your sales tax returns must be filed on or before the 20th of the month following the month that the sales tax was collected. So let's say, for example, you are paying the sales tax you collected during the month of October. It must be submitted to the state before November 20th. If you're reporting and paying all the sales tax that you collected, say, for example, in the month of March, that sales tax must be paid before April 20th. So you're going to file and pay your sales tax returns before the 20th of the month, following the month that that sales tax was collected. Computing sales tax. Sales tax is charged based on your dealership location, and you can easily call your city or your county tax authority for the correct sales tax amount. That's the easiest way to do it, but I'm also going to show you how to do this online here in just a few moments. You're going to need to be aware that you are going to charge the state rate of 2% plus your local tax rate. Okay, I want to make sure that you're very aware of that. You're going to charge the state rate of 2% plus your local tax rate. Now, the easiest way to find out what you're going to charge is to contact your local city or your county to find out exactly the amount that you're going to charge. So that's going to be the easy route. However, I do want to show you how to compute this so we'll have an understanding of sales tax without actually making that call. And we're going to do it on the state's official website, which is, here it goes, revenue.alabama.gov/sales-use/tax-rates/. Did you get all that? I'll make sure and have those links at the very top of that learning management system so you can easily find that contact and sales tax filing information. Let's compute what we would charge if our dealership is located in, say, for example, the city of Montgomery. Remember, you're going to charge sales tax rate of 2% plus your city or county rate, okay? So let's just say, for example, that your dealership is located in the city of Montgomery. So first, we're going to select the county of Montgomery because the city of Montgomery is in Montgomery County, and the city of Montgomery is in the city as well, obviously. And you can see here, this is going to be the Montgomery County and the City of Montgomery list here. So we're going to go ahead and scroll down to where it says Sales Tax Auto, and you're going to see the City of Montgomery charges 1.25% of the automobile sales price. And when you scroll down on that same page, you're going to see that Montgomery County charges 0.333%, and that's the sales tax rate for automobiles. So let's go ahead and do this computation. This sounds complicated, but it's really not. And plus, your local tax authority is going to let you know exactly what they're charged. Let's go ahead and do this computation. Okay, let's say your dealership is located in Montgomery. Okay, so what you're going to do, you're going to charge the Alabama sales tax rate of 2% plus the Montgomery auto sales tax rate, Montgomery County auto sales tax rate of 0.333, and then the city's rate of 1.25%. So the total auto sales tax percentage for a dealership in the city of Montgomery will be 3.58%. So on the screen here, let's say that customer is buying this vehicle for $5,000. You're going to take $5,000 and multiply it by the city of Montgomery's total tax rate with county and city and state, which is 3.5%. So you'll take 5,000 times 3.58%, which is $179. So you're going to take that $179 and add that to the purchase price. So if you're a dealer in the city of Montgomery, the customer is going to pay you $5,179 at the time of the sale when that vehicle was priced at $5,000. See how that works? Let's try a different city. Let's say your dealership is in the city of Huntsville. So we're going to select Huntsville, and the city of Huntsville is actually located in Madison County. So you're just going to verify that you're in the city of Huntsville and Madison County. And as you can see that Huntsville has an auto sales tax rate of 1.75%. So the city of Huntsville charges 1.75% for the auto sales tax rate. And since that city of Huntsville is in the county of Madison, you can scroll down there and you'll also see that the county of Madison has a 0.25% sales tax rate. So we're going to add those rates up. Remember, we charge the Alabama state auto sales tax rate of 2% plus the Madison County sales tax rate of 0.25% plus the Huntsville auto sales tax rate of 1.75. So if your dealership is in the city of Huntsville, the total auto sales tax rate will be an even 4%. Pretty easy. Let's go ahead and take that $5,000 vehicle we've sold and multiply it by the 4% tax rate, which would be $200. So you're going to add that $200 to the purchase price, and the customer is going to pay the Huntsville dealer $5,200 for that vehicle. So that's for the vehicle price plus the sales tax we've collected. Now, let's do things a little bit differently. Let's say you're in a rural area of a county that's not located in a city, so you're only going to charge the county sales tax rate. So let's say you're in a rural area of Bibb County and you're not located in a city, so you're going to verify that you are in Bibb County. And as you can see here, Bibb County is now what you're going to charge, and you're going to charge for auto sales tax 1.5%. Pretty easy, okay? So what we're going to do now is charge the sales tax. Remember, 2% plus Bibb County of 1.5%, that's going to be a total of 3.5% for a dealer that's in Bibb County that's not in a city. So let's go ahead and take the $5,000 purchase price, and we're going to multiply it by 3.5% total and add that $175 to the purchase price. So if a dealer is in a rural area of Bibb County and sells that vehicle for $5,000, the customer is going to pay $5,175 based on that purchase price, okay? Now, as you scroll down that screen, you can also see the statewide sales tax rate is 2%, so the state charges that 2% on every vehicle. Now, let's make things a little bit more complicated and throw in a trade-in. Remember, as I stated earlier, when a person buys a vehicle from a licensed motor vehicle dealer and they trade another vehicle, they're going to get a sales tax trade-in allowance, so they only have to pay sales tax based on the differences. So as before, what you're going to do, as I stated before, you're going to take that purchase price, you're going to subtract the trade-in, and that will equal your taxable value. So let's say we've got a dealer in the city of Montgomery, and you sell a $5,000 vehicle, and you took a $2,000 trade-in. So you're going to take that $5,000 minus the $2,000 and multiply that 5,000 minus 2,000 equals a taxable value of 3,000. So now we're going to take that 3,000 and multiply it by the Montgomery City's total tax rate of 3.58%, which is $107.40. So now the customer is going to pay $3,107.30. See how easy that is? Once you've done this a couple of times, you're going to have these memorized. Let's do the same thing with the Huntsville dealer. Let's say the purchase price is $5,000, but you've taken a $2,000 trade-in. So you're going to take $5,000 and subtract the $2,000 trade-in will equal a taxable value of $3,000 multiplied by the Huntsville sales tax rate for autos of 4%, which is going to be $120. So on that transaction, the customer is going to pay $3,120 because of that trade-in allowance. Now, let's do that final transaction with the Bibb County dealer. Let's say you took a $5,000 vehicle and a $2,000 trade-in. You take $5,000, subtract $2,000, and multiply it by 3.5%. And then that's going to be $105. So you add that $105 to the taxable value, and that customer is going to pay you $3,105, okay? Now let's go ahead and talk about dealer fees. Dealer fees must be disclosed in writing, and sometimes a dealer might charge what's called a dealer prep fee or a dealer documentation fee or a processing fee. The dealer must charge automotive tax on any dealer fee, and I always recommend that you seek some legal advice if you're going to charge any type of dealer fees. But no matter what, if you're going to charge a dealer fee, you will need to set one dealer fee for your dealership and charge the exact same fee to every single retail customer, because I've seen cases where a dealer will charge one customer a dealer fee, they'll charge the next customer a dealer fee, and then the third customer says they're not going to pay the fee, so the dealer waives the fee for the third customer. Well, if you think about that scenario, the dealer charged the previous customers additional fees, which gives the previous customers legal recourse against the dealer. They sue the dealer and win every time because the previous customers were charged dealer fees that the subsequent customers were not. So what I'm getting at, if you're going to charge a dealer fee, charge the exact same dealer fee to every single retail customer. If you have a customer who says they're not paying that dealer fee, well, then you can actually still charge the dealer fee, but you can reduce the price of the vehicle to where it equals the same. Remember, you're either going to charge a dealer fee in the same amount to every customer, or you never charge it at all. You can never pick and choose customers that you're charging dealer fees to. Otherwise, you could have legal recourse against you. So what you're going to need to do, though, is charge sales tax on any dealer fee. So let's just say, as an example, that you're going to charge a $250 dealer fee. And let's say the purchase price of that vehicle is $5,000. So you're going to take $5,000 plus the dealer fee of $250, which is going to equal a taxable value of $5,250. Now, if you multiply that by, say, for example, the 4% Huntsville City rate, there's going to be a $210 additional sales tax. So that customer is going to pay about $5,670 out the door. So I hope you do find this information beneficial. And you might debate whether or not to charge a dealer fee. Dealer fees can be quite profitable. If, let's say, you're charging a $250 dealer fee and you're selling 10 vehicles a month, that can really add up to your bottom dollar. But make sure that if you are charging it, I always recommend seeking some legal advice first and make sure that you are actually charging sales tax on the dealer fee. Now I want to talk about out-of-state customer sales tax. In most scenarios, when you sell a vehicle to an Alabama resident, you're going to collect sales tax just like I showed you just a few moments ago. But when selling to an out-of-state resident, in most cases, you're not required to collect a sales tax if you complete an automotive drive-out certificate for non-residents. Now, I want to repeat that very important information. In most scenarios, when you're selling a vehicle to an out-of-state customer, then you are not required to charge sales tax as long as you complete the automotive drive-out certificate for non-residents, which is Form DOC1, and I want to show you that form right here. It's very important that you complete this form every time you're selling a vehicle to an out-of-state resident, and that will allow you to bypass the collection of sales tax for residents of most states. I want you to be very aware of this important law that I'm going to read to you right now. And it says right here, failure to properly complete and maintain this certificate and the required documentation provided by the state rule in the seller's files will result in a seller being held liable for Alabama sales tax. So if you fail to properly complete that certificate, you could actually be liable for Alabama sales tax. So it is imperative that you complete the automotive drive-out certificate when you're selling a vehicle to someone that lives in another state. I also want you to be aware that the state of Alabama has sales tax collection agreements with several other states. So what this means, if you sell a vehicle to someone that lives in the state of Arizona, California, Florida, Indiana, Michigan, or South Carolina, then you're going to go ahead and charge the Alabama 2% sales tax rate on those vehicles, and then you'll go ahead and submit that on your sales tax return, as I just showed you here a little bit. I want you to be really, really aware of this, okay? If you do, for some reason, sell a vehicle to someone that lives in Arizona, California, Florida, Indiana, Massachusetts, Michigan, or South Carolina, then you're going to need to collect a 2% sales tax, and then you'll submit that to the state of Alabama, and then they'll submit that over to the other states. Same goes true if you go buy a vehicle in one of these states and you live in Alabama, they're going to collect Alabama sales tax and then submit that to the state of Alabama. So I definitely want you to be aware of that. Let's do a real quick sales computation for the tax that's going to be owed when you sell a vehicle to someone that lives in one of those states that I just named. Let's say you sell a vehicle for $5,000. So you're going to take that $5,000 and multiply it only by the Alabama sales tax rate. You're not charging city or county here, which is going to be about $100. So you're going to add that $100 to the purchase price, and a customer that lives in one of those states will pay about $5,100 out the door. So remember, if you sell a vehicle to someone that lives in Arizona, California, Florida, Indiana, Massachusetts, or Michigan or South Carolina, then you will certainly need to charge the 2% sales tax on that as well. Let's talk about some of the sales taxes deals that will be exempt, okay? Whenever you sell a vehicle to another dealer, there's no sales tax due because the other dealer doesn't pay vehicle sales tax. Remember, whenever you, a licensed motor vehicle, buys a vehicle, you don't pay sales tax. When you sell a vehicle to another dealer, then they do not pay sales tax either. Sales made for the first use outside Alabama, sales made to most non-residents, unless it was one of those states that I just referred to. And remember, sales tax is not charged on warranties or extended service contracts. I want to repeat that. If you sell a warranty or an extended service contract, you will not charge sales tax on those as well. In the very final section of this sales tax unit, I want to talk to you about how to easily file your monthly sales tax return, because as a vendor for the state who's collecting sales tax for the state, every single business in the state of Alabama that collects sales tax must file the return and transfer the sales tax you've collected to the state before the 20th of the month following the month that you've collected that sales tax, whether or not you've had any sales at all. I want to really repeat that very important information. You're required to file a sales and use tax return every month before the 20th of the month following the month that you collected that tax. Whether or not you've had any sales tax collected, you're going to file that mandatory sales tax return every single month, whether you sold one vehicle that month, whether you sold 20 vehicles that month, or whether you sold 0 vehicles that month. This report must be submitted every single month, and you're easily going to be able to do your returns right through myalabamataxes.alabama.gov, and I want to show you how right now. It's very, very, very easy to do this. So you're going to enter your username and password that you obtained when you initially got your sales tax license. Now that might go ahead and just it might go ahead and automatically populate that for you. So what we're going to do is we're going to scroll down to where it says make a payment. And if you did not sell any vehicles or collect any sales tax during that period, like on the screen you see right here, you're just going to see $0 because you have not collected any sales tax during that specific month. And as it says on your screen, you're going to need to type in your federal employment number there. And next, you're going to click Next once again. And then we're going to scroll down here from the drop-down box, and you're going to need to select Dealer Regulatory License. Now, if you're instead, say, for example, maybe you're a parts dealer, then instead you would go ahead and select the dismantler and parts recycler. But I think the majority of you that are taking this class are going to have a dealer regulatory license. So you're going to go ahead and make sure that your employer identification number is correct. And let's just say, for example, that we are getting ready to do our October return. Well, as it says right there, your October return is going to be due on or before November 20th. So I want to make a note of that. Your October return is due on or before 11/20, which is going to be the 20th of the month following the month that you're reporting. So you can easily do a lot of things here, okay? First of all, you can select your action center that you see right there, and that's going to show you your recent actions, okay? You're also going to be able to click on the settings if you ever need to amend your address or your contact information, or if you click on more, you're going to see a lot of really helpful things that you can do on the map system, including you can view your messages that are sent directly to you from the Department of Revenue. You can view letters that are submitted to you or submit additional documentations if required. You can make payments. You can check your tax returns as well. And you can also manage your names or your addresses and view your previous submissions as well. And if you want to, you can actually upload a W-2 here for you if you have employees, okay? So let's go ahead and file that mandatory return. So let's say we're doing October sales return, and that does show you that it is due on or before November 20th. So you're going to go ahead and click the File Now right there. And here you're going to see your contact information. You want to make sure your federal tax ID number information is correct. If you don't have any sales tax to return, you're going to click on No. So if you didn't sell any vehicles, or maybe you only sold some vehicles to some other dealers that didn't pay sales tax. If you collected no sales tax during that month, you'll just select no. But if you have collected sales tax, then you're going to go ahead and instead click on the yes button. And then by default, the location of your dealership will show automatically. And in this scenario, let's say that you have collected $1,200, and it's going to keep track for you here. So let's say you've collected $1,200 from our customers for sales of motor vehicles. Now, on this screen, it would show you if you didn't sell any vehicles, you'll see the zeros, but more than likely you've been selling vehicles and collecting sales tax. So let's say, for example, at the top of the screen, it shows you right there that you have collected $1,200 in sales tax from your customers, okay? So there's a couple of things you definitely need to be aware of. You're going to be able to see this confirmation here. So this is going to track all that sales taxes you've collected. So you'll just need to confirm that, yes, you've collected $1,200. And on this screen, you see that confirmation. And then what we're going to do is go here to the very bottom and click Next. And then you're going to need to pay that sales tax that you've collected to the state. Now, on this page, as you can see, you can either use a credit card or you can use an e-check, whatever is going to be convenient for you. If you do use a credit card, they will tack a little fee on there for you as well. So when you're ready to pay the $1,200 that you've collected for, say, for example, the month of October, you'll verify that payment. And then on this screen, you're going to be able to make sure and verify your address and things like that. And on the very next screen, you'll easily be able to input your credit card information. And as you see at the very top of the shopping cart, you owe $1,200. Remember, you've collected $1,200 in sales tax. Now, the following month, you're just going to go ahead and pay that via credit card. Or if you're just having that deducted out of your checking account, then you'll just use an e-check. And then it says that your payment has been received online. And then once again, you're going to go ahead and confirm that. And I want to recommend that you email that receipt to yourself and you go ahead and print a receipt up as well. You want to start documenting everything that you do. So you want to email yourself a receipt and go ahead and print that receipt as well. I hope you have found this information very valuable. If you have any sales tax questions whatsoever, and once again, there's no such thing as a stupid sales tax question, you can call 334-242-1490. Once again, that's 334-242-1490. And another great thing you can do right here, you're going to see a list of Alabama's taxpayer service centers, so you can always find a service center near you. If you have any questions whatsoever about the collection of sales tax, you can certainly contact one of those taxpayer service centers that are actually located throughout the state of Alabama. And on a final note, I want you to be very, very aware that sales tax reports are mandatory. They are part of the gig. If for some reason you stop doing your mandatory sales tax returns, then you will actually lose your sales tax license, and you cannot have a dealer's license unless you have a sales tax license. I want to repeat that. If you stop doing your sales tax returns, you will lose your sales tax license, and you cannot have a dealer's license without a sales tax license. So you want to make sure that you are doing these sales tax returns on a very timely manner. Remember, they must be submitted every single month before the 20th of the month following the month that you collected that sales tax. So I hope that I hope this is helpful for you. And remember, you can also contact your local city or county with specific sales tax rates for your city or your county. I hope you have found this information very advantageous. Now we're going to move on to the next unit.